night feels heavy, when the road feels long, when the way keeps calling, I stand strong. No fear inside me, no step undone. When the world needs someone, I am the one. I hear the silence breaking, I feel the pressure rise. Every doubt is shaking, but I won't hide. Through the storm and fire, through the unknown, I was born for this moment, I claim my own. Give me the fire, give me the load, I won't break under, I carry it all. I will carry it for you. I am the one, I believe in me. Nothing will stop me when I believe. You'll see, I am strong, I am the one.
Wow. Yeah. Welcome and Close your eyes for a moment and just feel that energy of what is coming, what is present. By simply taking the next inhale in a conscious way. And observe how your body is responding. And allow this response. There is a move. Allow that move, which can be anywhere. It can be the left foot, it can be the neck, it can be the finger. There is no right or wrong. And I consciously invite you to allow your voice. Everyone is muted. Allow your voice to flow. And breathe. And with the next inhale, take a slightly deeper inhale and allow this move to be as big as it is. And when there is a real deep inhale, have a look how possibly your body is stretching. You don't need to do anything, it's there, and with the stretch, observe how your mouth possibly is opening and how that gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And allow the yawn. And with the exhale, have the expression of this sound of this without hesitation. And then be with that for a moment and feel this presence. And with the next exhale, consciously open your eyes. Allow yourself to see and to be seen. How we show ourselves, and if anyhow possible, please come on camera. If it's for whatever reason not possible, feel free to stay off camera. But if it's possible, come on. So this is a conversation where everyone is involved. And I hand over to Amy Sue, who created this wonderful hour today together with our special keynote speaker guest. Thank you for being here, everyone. I love you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. And first things first. So I'm pretty sure that your name goes by Alok, but I just wanted to ask, how do you officially say your name so I can make sure that I greet you accurately? And so everybody else knows, like, what do you want to be called? You're on mute.
Alok Appadurai.
Alok Appadurai.
Yes.
Okay. So now we know. So anyways, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for agreeing to speak today. I know today's talk is going to be amazing. I don't know exactly what Loki's going to talk about, but it's going to be good. I do know that. And I just wanted to say that, like, when I think of him, what I think of is a leader, like a natural leader. When I think of him as masculinity in a healthy way, in a strong way, not in a forceful way. And as a female, that's very, very important, right? And he really does have this sense of strength about him that is safe. It's not, you don't feel like, oh, he's going to go punch somebody's lights out. You feel like I can walk beside this guy and he's got my back. And there's a huge difference in that energy. And so that's who he is to me. That's who I see him as. I also see him as a natural born leader. I see him standing up for what he believes in, regardless of the consequences, unapologetically. Again, that is something that nowadays doesn't come along very often, right? To have somebody who stands in integrity, to have somebody that is safe, right? Like, and to be a male figure in that role. I really appreciate that, admire, and respect that about him. And so when I think of him, those are the traits that I really, really think of. And when I ask him to do the call, and I'm like, pick out a song, like, give us one of your songs. And he's like, well, you choose a song for me. And at first I was like, what? I don't have time for this. What am I going to do? You know? And so I started listening to all these songs. You guys have no idea. I listened to a lot. And I'm like, no, that's not it. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. Well, that's good, but that's not it. Maybe a little, but not complete. And then I found the song that you guys heard at the beginning, right? And I was like, that is him. That really embodies who he is to me, because he's strong. He's a leader. He carries it. He's willing to carry it. He's willing to go through with you. He's not going to leave you alone. You know, he's not going to leave you stranded. He's with you in it. And he will carry that burden. He will carry it for you if you can. And so when I found that song, I was like, this is the one. And I was so excited. And I couldn't wait until he heard it. So I hope that you see yourself the way that I see you when you heard that song. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Loke, and he's going to give you guys an amazing talk today. So here we go.
Amy, thank you so much for that introduction. And it's an honor. I remember our first conversation like it was yesterday. And I remember just listening to you. I think you were in your car maybe. And, you just shared with me your a fullness of your journey. And it felt like such a gift for me to just be able to receive and listen. And so thank you so much for continuing to be in my life. This, however long it is now that we've been rolling together. I want to acknowledge Wolfgang and Renata and Jan. Thank you so much for having me. Wayne, thank you so much. And just want to say hello to everybody. Matthias, good to see you. Theo, big hello. Greg, good to see you again. Simon, thank you for being here. Kevin, I'm glad you're here. Matthew, I love you, buddy. It's good to see you. And Jen, good to see you again. And anyone else who's on here that I can't currently see, I really appreciate your time and that we get to be together. I'm going to share. I'm going to share a little bit, just open with. I know the centerpiece of this is around our document. If we could just mute anybody who isn't muted, that'd be great. Thank you. I know the centerpiece is around our documents, and raise your hand if you quote unquote have a document or light codes or whatever we can call it whatever we want. Good. Okay. So I'm just going to bring some of mine forward. I'm not going to go into all of it, but just let you know a little bit about who I am. I am the result of the generations that came before me and the ripple effects 7 generations out into the future. I'm a powerful being who creates abundance for myself and others with ease. I'm intimate by nature with all of humanity, especially my extraordinarily loving partner, Caitlin. I'm divinely guided and protected. I am the witness, not the thinker. I am an expression of Christ consciousness and all of the mystics that came before me. I am one with all that has ever been. This is who I am, and my parents named me Alok. I remember when Steve had me go through this process, this creation process, and for any of you who have gone through it, it requires a looking at ourselves that can be a little bit uncomfortable. Anybody have that about yourself as you were going through the process? Like, oh. And I want to share something that Steve said to me in our opening session of a long agreement. He said, Alok, and this one line changed my life. It changed how I coach. It changed how I lead. He said, Alok, we've got some time ahead. We're going to be in this office. We'll be doing this thing. And he said, our time together and my presence in your life will be highly valuable into your life across every area of your life, your relationship, your health, your business, whatever, all the pieces be very, very valuable. Right? And if you guys can imagine, any of you know Steve, he's sitting across from me, he's kind of leaning forward, right? Full enrollment energy going on. And he says, I will be extraordinarily valuable to you across every area of your life until the moment that you think I have no value. And in that moment, poof, it will be gone. Poof, the magic, let's say, of Steve Hardison will poof, be gone. I believe the same thing about our documents. They're either just words or kind of nice things that we say about ourselves, and that's when it's just residing in our minds as thoughts. But there's a difference when it begins to migrate into your body and you begin to live and breathe and exude these things. You begin, Elvira, good to see you. You begin to step into truths about things as living embodied experiences, not nice ahas that one had about oneself. And I'm going to vulnerably give you an example of one, because as many of you have gone through the process, you know that each statement of your creation is a result of healing some thinking from your past, correct? Right? We're all there. Enough of us anyway. So I'm going to reveal one. I had two lines in some of my experience of life that went like this. My energy is too much for people. Oh, man. Just coming to terms with that one. My energy is too much. I mean, there would be people on this call where my energy might have been too much today already or whenever, right? And then interestingly enough, I also had another one, which was my energy's not enough. I'm not enough. Anybody else ever struggled with I'm not enough? Did that program ever come in? Yeah, it's one of the big heavy hitters, right? And I'd known that kind of, self-consciousness, this, that, and the other. But when I saw those two together, I thought, wow. This was one of the most powerful ahas that I had in his office was, whoa, I didn't actually realize the polarity of those two pieces in my consciousness. Wow, no wonder life might be a slightly bumpy ride. I'm sitting here attempting to modulate myself, in all circumstances with both. I might be too much for this person. I might not be a person. So can we mute Anne-Marie? Anne-Marie, good to see you. So this was a moment for me, everybody. Could have been decades of this dual modulation, which, raise your hand if you can feel like that's a confusing modulation to try to do, and it's exhausting. I had no idea how exhausting this was. And so when you hear me say, I am the energy that changes the world, understand that is where that came from. It was a complete freedom from a consideration or a concern of my energy might be too much. I've had people go, you wake up like this? And I'm like, yeah, I kind of wake up like this, Even for my lady, it's like, it can be too much, right? So, in the house, I get to modulate, I get to, let's figure it out, because that could be a kind of intense zone, right? But when you hear me say, I am the energy that changes the world, that's not just some flowery line that I'm saying because it sounds pretty or it sounds fancy. I don't really care what it sounds like to anybody. It was my release valve out of 2 modulation requirements I had put on myself for decades. So it's not something I just think about, I'm the energy that changes the world. How cool is that? I mean, it is pretty cool, right? When we realize that we are 13.8 billion years of stardust that has all collided temporarily into the form that is you. Wow. What would we understand about ourselves differently if we understood that we are carbon and all these elements, that where did it come from? Whoa. And we could have religious beliefs and all that, this, that, and the other. And that's okay. I'm not here to step on anybody's toes, but by and large, let's just kind of bring into the field. We are at least in my view, we are the result of 14 billion years of stardust, all intersecting for this temporary moment that we are walking around like this. Could we see ourselves as a living, breathing, walking miracle? What would happen then? Whoa. And some people go, well, that's a little out there. It's a little out there. What do you mean it's a little out there? Everything is made up of the elements and vibration. That's science. So I say these things to share with you so you can have a possibility of feeling my commitment to these ideas below the chin. I call it the shift from the cranial brain, which is where all suffering lives, by the way, down into the cardiac brain. 40,000 neurons in your heart, has its own consciousness, its own memories, its own thoughts, its own feelings. You can believe me or not, but I guarantee you, your heart speaks a very different language than your brain. This brain down here, that's about 8 inches below your chin, it speaks with certainty, confidence, power, clarity, direction. And so as I live and breathe my document, it's not something that I am experiencing out of my cranial brain as a nice set of ideas that, I hope you think sound good. I don't care what you think on it. I don't mean that offensively. It's just, it's irrelevant. Is my cardiac brain, which I call the voice box of the soul, which does not know insecurity, worry, doubt, nervousness, jealousy, anger, frustration, right? Your cardiac brain literally speaks a completely different language. So when your document is literally something that is emerging and being spoken from your heart, so you notice I close my eyes, I'm coming into a different state when I'm sharing who I truly am. Because it's not some intellectual exercise that I want to walk you through. And when many of us make that leap, that descent below the chin, it is a felt experience for everybody around you. So I'm going to get a little out there for a second, but it's actually not out there because it's science. Our heart emanates a field 3 to 9 feet around us. Okay, it's a magnetic field of the heart. Raise your hand if you've ever been near somebody and they weren't talking, but you felt something about them. Anybody ever had that experience? Yes. That is real. That is the heart field. You were literally experiencing, and if you guys look this up after, you can go to Heart Math Institute, fascinating resource on what's actually going on with the intelligence in the heart. It's not just an organ that moves your blood around. It is so much more vastly sophisticated of an apparatus that is affecting your space. And so as we come into this understanding that my document, it's not spoken from like here to here, you know, it's not coming from this thing into this thing. My document is coming from this thing out of this thing. Raise your hand if that makes sense. I hope it does, because it will change how the world experiences you in no uncertain terms. And what I have experienced is that as the document, or what I call light codes, have moved from being some, you know, intellectual, memorized thought exercise of healing, okay, which is awesome. But as it is migrated from my cranial brain to my cardiac brain, what ends up occurring through embodying, living it, again, not perfectly, everybody, you know, I say this to say, Steve would always say to me, Alok, daily work in progress here. Okay. like, don't look at any of us that come on these calls. I will speak for myself. I have not mastered this. I've just shrunk the length of time that I am not standing in my light codes or my document, however you want to say it. What ends up happening as I have experienced embodying it out of my heart, my cardiac brain more, what ends up occurring has been a regulation of the nervous system in a way that hadn't been taught to me as a young person. And what that creates, and this is absolutely fascinating, and I have to give credit here to a man named Mike Rashid. He has said something in a certain way that I just find fantastic and powerful. He said, when you come into that state and are able to be in that highly, what I now call grounded masculine power, and that's masculine meaning not male, female, it's just being able to tap in by being an embodiment of your document or your light codes from your cardiac brain, you become the unconscious epicenter gravity in the room. Not unconscious because you're unconscious. It means that everybody who experiences you will begin to entrain their nervous systems around yours. And as Mike Rashid said, you become the metronome in the room that everybody is regulating around. And this, everybody, is, in my view, power. It is very powerful. It is a people will experience you in your silence differently. Whereas people think we got to be the biggest, the loudest voice, or got to have the most amount of money, or all these things that have been the historic measuring sticks of power. They aren't powerful to me. I sit with billionaires, 100 millionaires. My power tests are so different than what society taught me to understand. And so as we tie all this together, when you begin to be somebody who is actually emanating the words of your document as the frequencies that are filling the 3 to 9 feet of your heart's magnetic field, which is real, everybody. This is not some woo-woo stuff. Go look it up. You felt it. All of you raised your hand. You know you have felt it of other beings. So the key is to program what's in that heart field. Raise your hand if that makes sense. You can either program it with poison, jealousy, anger, frustration, negativity, criticism, judgment, right? And people will feel that. When I walk into rooms, I'm feeling people. I'm feeling them more than listening to what they say. And I'm deciding how much time of my most precious resource, time and focus, I'd like to commit to being in their heart field. It has nothing to do with how rich they are. It has nothing to do with how famous they are. It has nothing to do with what connectivity and doors they could open for me or any of that. I will quickly assess how they've programmed the magnetic field of their heart. And is it mutually beneficial? Does it nourish both of us? And does my heart field begin to harmonize with theirs? So there's a fascinating thing from science. I call it 440 meets 440. And there's this experiment where a science teacher is teaching a classroom, and he's got a wooden arm with a string that has a ball hanging from the string, and it's leaning on a tuning fork, okay? And the tuning fork is, let's say, at 440 hertz or whatever, right? And then he takes a second tuning fork in his hand that's at 512, and he starts clanging that second tuning fork, okay? And the ball does not move on the first one that's hanging from the string. He then picks up a 440 tuning fork, which is the same frequency as the first tuning fork. And he starts clanging that 440 tuning fork. And guess what happens? The ball starts jumping off the first tuning fork. I call that 440 meets 440. Vibrational frequency, when it matches, it is a natural match. So if there's something out of alignment in your life, it is likely because there's a frequency mismatch, and everything is vibrating. Believe me or not, that's up to you. Okay. Everything has a vibrational frequency, and therefore every emotion has a vibrational frequency, and your heart field is creating a vibrational frequency that either creates the field of your greatest possibilities, or it's pushing away and repelling your greatest possibilities. How fascinating is that? So for me, this is what living my document means. Imperfectly, day in and day out, start again, come back to it. My light codes or document has changed more than once. In many ways, it is actually simplified after I had a private one-on-one ceremony up at the trees. And one day it really shrunk down to like 6 lines. I'm not going to bring those 6 lines into the field right now. They're very private for me. But I say this to say it's not a shallow exercise if you'll allow the possibility. It has the power to literally shift the trajectory of your lineage. That's not hyperbole. It has changed how I raise my son, which has the power now to ripple generations into the future, which is one of my light codes. And so if we allow in this possibility that we are coding our heart field and the experience that all beings have of us. And when you realize that I'm not special about this, it's not like you're listening to some guy named Alok, and by the way, in that ceremony, the universe was like, your name's not Alok, it's Loka, but that's a whole other part of the journey. Oh, he's some guy and he's this and that. No, I'm just like anybody else. I'm just allowing greater depth of possibility. Do we choose to live on the surface of making deals happen and making lots of money and going out to lunch and being on the hamster wheel of life and, clocking in and clocking out? Most people have set themselves out to pasture. And I don't want to live that way. I want to live around people whose heart field is alive. It's nourishing. It's exciting. Raise your hand if you've ever been around those people. And they don't have to be loud, everybody. They're vibrant. Quiet can be vibrant. But there's a big word, which is their presence. Their presence. Their presence precedes their words. Raise your hand if you've ever been in a room and you've had somebody come into the room and you felt them, but it wasn't because they needed to be some big, loud alpha. It was just like this, whoa. It's like a grandfather tree walked in the room, and it just knows what it is. But it's not trying to be better than anything else in the room. It just is. It's palpable, everybody. That is the coding of your heart's magnetic field. The other major thing I want to say is that every element of life can be changed. It's all malleable. The way that you dress, where you live, who you spend time with, all of it, do not ever believe that it is set in stone. It is simply a creation that some of us sort of fall into because the society around us told us to wear a certain shirt or dress a certain way because that's how we're going to be accepted in certain circles that have certain benefits. And we like those things, whether it's religious or economic or political or social. But underneath all of that is actually who you are. As you decide who you are, and your document becomes the roadmap. Those of us old enough to remember roadmaps. You'd open those books, you'd map out, a way to get from, New York to Philadelphia or whatever. That's what the document is. The document is the roadmap to who you are if you answered all the things across religion, politics, sexuality, social norms, dress, music, food. How much of that, even right now, and this doesn't matter of age, how much of that are you still operating from the programming that other people told you about how you're supposed to be and who you are and, what building you're supposed to go to, and you're supposed to pray a certain way and this and that and the other. Man, humanity does a bang up job. What if you didn't have to play by any of those rules? What then? Woo! What then? So truly, I think it's a pathway to freedom. And here's the piece I'll close out with, I think, and we'll get into some Q&A or hot seat or whatever you want to call it. Freedom, people talk about freedom, and there's, financial freedom, and there's emotional freedom, and all these different freedoms. But a core one that I've been talking to clients a lot about is this. When we live by, let's say, our document, and we have it be something that's emanating and coding our heart field, not from our cranial brain. If you all just get that, it's like it is a whole different world functioning from that sentence, in my view. You begin to be able to reduce susceptibility to two things. One, the external judgments of others. They just start dissolving. Why? Because you're able to do you both, and here's what I didn't understand. And maybe all of you understood this before me. But this one was a really fascinating connection. Just like I opened very vulnerably about the fear of, I'm too much and I'm not enough, right? That combo pack. I'm going to give you another combo pack, which was the susceptibility to the judgment, criticism of others, but also the susceptibility to the compliments of others. I didn't realize those two things were connected. And they're absolutely connected. And maybe it sounds absolutely obvious when I state it to you, but it wasn't obvious to me. And so the freedom, the actual pathway to freedom, is when we exude and shape our heart field from two things, which is an internal acknowledgement of ourself. That would be our light codes or our document. And also an internal acknowledgement of our areas of improvement, where we are a work in progress, but also not with the old, I've got to take a pound of flesh out of myself, or where I'm just ignoring it or closing my eyes to it. Where we can just be in a balanced, hey, I'm pretty proud of myself for how I handled blank. Hey, I'm working on this in my life, blank, whatever that is. Now it's all internal. What you'll see happen is the judgments of others and the compliments of others will no longer have any vibrational impact into your life. And that has been highly freeing. Highly freeing. Pathway to freedom, everybody. So if you ever hear me acknowledge somebody, it's not because I need to compliment them. I don't feel the need to compliment people anymore. Real freeing. But I also don't feel the need to judge people anymore either. Real freeing. Not saying I don't do it on occasion. Human. Got a little annoyed with somebody the other day. Got it. Okay. Woo. Still in there. Just happens far shorter, everybody. Far shorter. And so to tie together the piece that I said earlier, as we remember that we are 13.8 billion years of stardust colliding into this temporary form that we are walking around this extraordinary planet made up of molecules and carbon and all of these different elements, magically, by the way, every day, the fact that all of our systems operate and that each of us got out of bed today and are on this with our eyes open and our heart's functioning and our lungs are functioning, your vascular systems are functioning, your muscular systems are functioning, your bone structure is functioning. Wow. Congratulations. You won. You won, everybody. You're winning. Wayne, I have loved you the first time I saw you, Wayne, I was like, that guy is winning right there. If everybody doesn't understand what Wayne Upchurch is demonstrating into the field, you're blind. Pardon my French, you are fucking blind. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you. Watched you every single time I had the chance. I think twice now I've had the chance, right? Is it 2 times that we've been in the same orbit, Wayne? I think it's 2. I was like, man, that guy look at his heart field. And I could experience his from 40 feet. I'm in a chair. He's up on the stage. Saw him walking from stage right, coming in. If we can understand the miracle that just getting out of bed is, then we get to look at every other single being, including all the ones that might have harmed us or wronged us or insulted us or did whatever they did. And guess what? We get to see them as a miracle too. What would change in your life if you experienced all people? You go to the gas station, there's a walking miracle right there. What would happen then? Somebody drops trout, takes a shit on you for some reason that you have no idea why. Well, I don't need to spend much more time with them, but I'll still see them as a miracle. I'll be moving right along at this point. Thank you so much. But I can still see them as 13.8 billion years of stardust that's all collided with life force energy into the temporary form that is them. So I hope today I've given you an imprint of what living my document from below the chin means to me, imperfectly, but it's just, as I say, start again. Code your heart field. Nobody can stop you from coding your heart field, everybody. For whatever that is, it could be magnetic for money, abundance, love, care, compassion. You get to code it. I know the people that have coded their heart field only for money. I feel them. And I'm like, oh, you're still on your journey. Money's fabulous. I love money. But it's just one element we get to code our heart field for as a magnetic pull. And if we want to do the combo pack, your thoughts that do emanate from the cranial brain are electrical pulses out into the universe. And your heart field is a magnetic pull from the universe that tunes to the universe. And that might be a little out there, but here we are. Our brain is not a storage device. It is a tuning device, both of our brains. So we're just tuning into possibility, but most of us are living in static. Why? Modulating on multiple different things all at the same time. It's like, just come in to core frequency, unapologetic. Who would you be and what would you say if you lived by these three words, come what may? You'd have freedom. Come what may are three of the most freeing words I've ever said to myself. Whew. Raise your hand if there was any nugget in there for you that landed in such a way that may be able to take and implement into your life. Anybody here? Okay, good. Like three of you. Good. Phenomenal. Awesome. It's been my absolute honor to spend time. I want to open up if there's any questions about any of the things I've said, or you just want to dance with me for a little bit before I have to go teach in a little while. I would happily dance with anybody here who'd like to either reflect on something that I brought up or challenge, I don't know, push back or whatever the case may be. I'm really open for any dance that anyone wants to have. And otherwise, yeah, Elvira.
So first of all, I want to thank Wolfgang for inviting me, my beautiful brother. And honestly, Alok, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have met Wolfgang and some other amazing people in this group. Just had the best chat with Anne Marie yesterday. Oh my God, what a freaking rock star. Yeah, your group is just filled with so many rock stars. I just encourage everybody to join us in Haven. You're not paying me to say this, but seriously, like your magic is just unbelievable. And every time I hear you, there's always something new. And I've been with you for over a year now. And today I just got new nuggets. And I'm actually going on to do my own event right after this. I'm so sorry I can't be in Haven today.
Okay, go enjoy.
Yeah, but I'm just so thrilled that this is teeing me up for my living my document. My document as the legacy whisperer. I'm here to help people connect to why they were brought here and do the actual damn thing. And it doesn't have to be one thing. And this is what I'm here for. And if it wasn't for you, Alok, I would not be standing as tall as I am right now with so much conviction and courage to do the damn thing I was brought here to do. And it's so sad to die with your real music still in you. My father did, but I'm not. And I'm here to inspire others not to do it. Becoming a jazz artist at 51, I'm proof that anybody can do fucking anything. And that's what I'm for. So I just want to acknowledge you. I know you don't need the compliments, but I just want to say, to anybody here who's on the fence, please join us in Haven. It's fucking awesome over there. And yeah, Thank you. Thank you, Wolfgang, once again for bringing us together.
You all will see that woman at speaking at the United Nations. So we have set that intention. She has sent in her application, and I can't wait to get the text message, with the screenshot of the, with the seal. And you don't have to even put a message. My whole body will my vagus nerve will explode. And I'll go, that's right. That's right. She did it. She did the thing. She went for it. She polished herself up in a certain way. She got her, precision, and the right things all fell in line. So let's all give snaps up for Elvira and what's unfolding and who she's being and the path that she's creating into her world. It's an honor to be with you.
Thank you, Alok.
You're welcome.
Love you guys.
Love you. Anybody else want to dance today with anything that I might have shared that you'd like to explore? Otherwise, I'll let Wolfgang and Amy begin to. Yeah, Ryan. It's good to see you.
I had a question. Yeah, good to see you.
Yeah.
I enjoyed your talk, and I guess that it's kind of about functioning in that higher state. So it's so essentially I've meditated for decades and have done different mind body practices and can be listen to the stillness and listen to the silent Om and and different practices and just putting your attention on the energy field or following your breath or whatever that is, or just bringing your attention and being really present with your heart. And as you're discussing that, and I can be that, like what you talked about, being that deeper, quiet energy in the room. But then to move from a place of functioning from that, I'm kind of talking around the question. It's really how to function from that. And it's it's kind of the question, and it's and there's times where
give me an example where there's a gap. I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
So I'll experience especially when my heart's really surrendered to God and just that, very very much in flow, synchronistic, serendipitous. And it's and I'm focused on sharing love to the person in front of me. And I'm in sales and they do sales and marketing stuff. And and so when I'm in that heart-centered place and just loving the person in front of me, then business becomes, it becomes, I'm praying for them and they're crying, and it's I'm in a real estate office, and it's and so that is beautiful. And it's and that aspect of it, I enjoy it. I love it. And then it's but I'll say, and I can say, God, where are my sales today? And it's then someplace something will flash my mind and I'll follow that.
Yes.
I guess the question is that deep presence feels to me more like beingness, and I associate that more with femininity instead of action. It's it's more that it's me becoming receptive to that deep space. And so it's and I know that, and I can feel that the power of that high field, when I'm a part of the ocean instead of the fish. And so then from that place though, it's I guess I feel I'm in the still place, or I'm in I'll say in doing this, and it's and so the question I think is it's to kind of create and manifest create the things I want, on a more material level, how to bridge that a little more.
Got it.
Focus.
I got you.
Okay.
I think I've you can tell me if I'm off base here. I'm going to give you my Cancer distinction, Ryan. Ryan, if tomorrow morning you woke up and you had installed in the Matrix, where Neo says to Tank, upload how to fly a helicopter right now, right? Do you remember that scene? Okay, right?
Yeah,
fly a Apache helicopter.
Good stuff.
Right? Yeah. Good stuff, right? If you woke up tomorrow and you woke up and you knew you had the cure to cancer, whether it's a pill or it's a machine or whatever it is, the blueprints, you've got the cure to cancer. Tell me, what would your day be filled with?
Bringing that to manifestation. Bringing
don't use fancy words. Don't use fancy words. Tell me what you would do.
figure out how to help people know how to do it. And it's like, just like,
oh, I bet you this thing would be highly active.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't just be like looking at it like, I'm going to manifest here and I'm going to be sitting on my pillow. You would be in heart-led, like, action. I've got to call every medical system. I've got to get to NYU, Harvard, Yale, Stanford, Mount Sinai, St. Mary's, Mayo Clinic. I don't care what has happened. A different version of Ryan is showing up that day. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That is the same. That is the intersection. What you're feeling, right? You're like, oh, there would be a different Ryan. And you know how to do it on occasion when you're in the real estate office and you're getting into God mode and you're able to love that person through what service, because you want to serve them in a certain way and they're in tears. And you're, as the signing documents are happening, there's fucking tear stains dropping on the paper. You know how to do it in certain moments. The key is to be able to tap into heart-led action, where to not do so is a disservice to people. To realize that when you're only sitting on the pillow in a heart state, it's actually, when I started realizing it would be, if you had the cure to cancer, it would be a disservice to just be sitting on the pillow, kind of like going, well, I wonder who I should talk to today, right?
Yeah.
When we commit that the creation in the 3D world, whether it's landing a deal of whatever it may be, when we are always committed to creating an outcome where the other person gets the bigger benefit. Okay. And I've been in sales for 30 years. I love training on sales. This is you're hitting the full intersection that I absolutely love. As long as you are bringing something to the table that is and I like it to be a 10x to 100x value to the other person. Okay. Why would you not be an absolute bold, heart-led action like as much as you'd like to? Because you're not trying to get a deal. I don't even say, God, where's my sales? You know what I say? I said, God, who am I to serve next? I'd like an opportunity to serve somebody. When somebody cuts me some big, $25,000, $100,000 check for me to coach them for 6 months or a year or whatever it is, the money is, I will only say yes to taking them on if the money is like dramatically smaller than the potential value of their transformation over that time period. And if my sense is no, then I ain't doing it. Doesn't matter. I could get paid. Doesn't matter. Right? This is heart-led, ethical, yes, no, with a relentless desire for the opportunity to serve. God, who would you have me serve today? Hey, who have I not followed up with that I could create tremendous, extraordinary value into their life? And boy, I take great joy and pleasure in that value creation into the lives of others. And the result is money. Money is just a result of loving people more and being in their highest and best and walking away from any deal that is extractionary in nature. Be that guy.
Makes sense.
Be that guy wherever you go. Be that guy who is so present to and committed. His commitment level to creating value into the lives of others is palpable. It's absolutely palpable.
Okay. Can I ask? Okay. So that's great. If I had, like you're saying, it's like if you had one day to live, or somebody had a gun to your head, or you got the cure to cancer. I know it's not hyperbole, but it's like those extreme situations where, for like just making decisions for business and stuff. It's like how do you so to get to that frame, you have to have an extreme external circumstance of having that information or having a gun.
No. You have to have a pathological commitment to service, my brother.
Okay.
You're missing what I'm saying. Money is a result of serving somebody to the highest and best for them and for yourself. Okay. And for all those who will benefit from the outcome. Okay. So it's increasing your pathological commitment to service and to wanting to create value into the lives of others and taking grand joy into the possibility of taking of the joy, not just the money that occurs from serving somebody and having them go, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You didn't rip me off. You didn't oversell me. You didn't undersell me. You positioned me exactly where I needed to be. Thank you so much for how you taken care of me. You thought about me. You weren't a jerk like everybody else I've dealt with. Thank you for changing my perception of how this position can go, whatever the field is.
Yeah.
You get to function differently. And when it comes to decision making, I guarantee you, if you paid attention to what I said and you migrate out of the cranial brain for business, because you're functioning cranial brain here, but meditation, I'm on my pillow and I do my 500 practices from my heart.
Yeah.
I'm inviting you to move business and ask, literally, this is going to sound weird as shit, and I'm going to have to go in like 3 minutes. It's to ask, I run, ready for it? Because I treat my heart as its own consciousness. Because it is. It is its own. I know it might sound really weird, but it is its own consciousness. Okay?
Yeah.
This may sound very strange, but I actually speak out loud to my heart. How are you feeling? What's going on? And then step 2, I run my business decisions by my heart. And my heart is not confused. My heart is not wondering what I should do. The heart's like, focus on this today. Don't do the extra. Like it is a precise measure for action.
Yeah.
It will collapse time. What should I focus on today? Who should I reach out to? The heart's like, you did not call this person. This really, like, it's like, whoa.
Yeah. No, there's definitely a difference. I can experience both the consciousness, both presences, and it's like, and just what you're saying is like, instead of asking God or like asking my to-do list, what next thing I need to do off the to-do list, it's like asking the heart for the direction, just having that be the conversational touchstone. Yeah.
Let the heart be the CEO of your business and watch what happens.
Yeah.
It is a decision-making apparatus unlike anything you've ever experienced. It's not just this kind of feminine, be in the zone. It is the CEO. When the heart becomes the CEO, the decision maker, you watch the precision and the speed to decision is immediate.
Yeah.
I love you all very much. I am going to have to jump off.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You're very welcome. Ryan, I want you to send me a message in a couple weeks or whatever, and I'm going to ask you to really commit to what I've shared with you. And just tell me what happened, what began to unfold, what changed. Put your heart as CEO and run every decision for the next 2 weeks and tell me what occurred. I love you all very much. It's been my absolute honor to be here. Drop me a line if I can support any of you in any which way. And Wolfgang and Amy and everybody, thank you for the opportunity to be here with all of you. It's been my honor. I will see you all another time. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Alok. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Well, that was Alok, everybody. That was an amazing call. I hope you all got some golden nuggets out of it. I know I sure did. And do know that next month on April 13th, we will have Tom Lipinski speaking. I'm sure that's going to be lots of golden nuggets as well. And it will be at 10 a.m. Eastern time because we will be over all this time change humps and things like that. So we'll be back to the normal time, which will be 10 a.m. And again, that will be April 13th, and that will be with Tom. And yeah, so with that, we're actually going to close right on time. Look at that. It's a miracle. See you all. Love you.
And thank you for coming, please.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, I forgot that part. Yes, thank you for being here. It wouldn't have been the same without you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Love you.
Yeah. I'm out.